Good morning and happy Monday.
It's Monday.
It feels like a Monday for sure.
Oh, goodness
Oh
gracious.
my gosh. I maybe last week because it was a 3-day weekend. I don't know.
I know. I don't know. And I think, even though we're mostly back to normal, the COVID thing still has everybody, our schedules are weird. I feel like, I don't know about you. I still am not going out a lot, like not to restaurants or places. And so that means I'm at home a lot, which is just makes you droopy.
And I feel like I'm home all the time, although I did like totally venture out. I went to Home Depot, haven't been there forever. We went to a little, I don't know, diner. I guess Leo said it's like a Jason's Deli.
Oh, okay.
And it was really, really good. The kids went to the carnival.
I saw that.
I had them post me pictures. I didn't go. I thought about it and I'm like, I don't know. It's so different here and the stuff that I see online, it's definitely a different feeling. I mean, I'm at Home Depot. I mean, you see the employees wearing masks, but I mean, they have a lemonade stand out front with kids making your lemonade.
Nobody's selling lemonade. Oh,
Nobody's wearing masks. I mean, it's just, I feel like I'm in a different world than the rest of the world, or at least what I see.
right.
I know, I mean, I did go and get my toes done because they really, I mean,
I saw you guys with your masks on.
yes. So they are, that's the only place like it's required. Or like when I went to vet, I always have my mask in my purse, but I don't see a lot of masks up here. And I know that was even different a month ago when I was down in Florida. A lot of people were wearing masks, but I think it's, I don't know. I just feel like I'm in a different world and a little more like a country, not big. And I don't know. We just don't have as many positives as like other people or
the state of Florida, maybe.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I don't know. And I think the news, they like focus on, yes, we expected the number to grow as we opened back up, but the recoveries are like the same and they focus on that. So it's not how many overall, it's how many active, recovered.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just not as scary when you see those numbers are super, 100 people are active, and that's the highest that we've been since it started.
Right.
But the recovered. So it's like the recovered still even. And I guess that's what they focus on.
Right. I'm not even hardly ever watching the news. So I
stopped, only watch the local news.
Yeah.
I did stop that. And now it's been a little weird, just social in general is now I'm like, well, crap. Am I going to have to go back to my dog's accounts?
I've been posting lots and lots of puppy pictures.
Yeah, well, that's me too. And I'm like, well, if somebody doesn't like dogs, because I know there's one that she doesn't like my feed because she's horrified of dogs and mine are big.
That's funny.
But I don't know. To me, we just need more of that because I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Even with the conversation online this week has been about going back to school and how people feel about that. And my jury. I'm out. I don't know yet what I'm doing. So
what grade is
Gavin is 10th grade, and he did not like online school at all, and not because of the socialization, because it was. Virtual school may be different because that's different, but because those teachers were not prepared for online school. And so everybody did something different. So,
I mean, and it was almost a joke. And we did, I mean, thank God Hunter's done. He did not like the online. I think he likes being with his peers and stuff. Jessica, it was a godsend. So we have the option and we took the online 100%, but if they're more prepared for the online, I think she may be in a bit of a rude awakening call. I think her assignments were like, watch this video on like marine biology and write me a paragraph. That's your assignment for the week. And I don't think that's going to be the case.
Going forward, yeah, I'm with you.
forward. So I think the curriculum may be a little more than what she's thinking, and she may have a harder time. But with all the drama with the girls, and I mean, she definitely did better because she can just do her thing and then work, and So it'll be interesting. But we start school. I mean, we registrations next week. I think the 21st. Yeah, 22nd is her. They start on the 29th. And then high school graduation is on like the 31st.
Wow.
So it's like Hunter will already be starting college
when he graduates. Yeah.
Go to high school graduation dinner and whatever.
So weird. All right. So let's jump into this week's topic, which is how to win more listings.
Yes.
And so, it's such a funny time right now and I'm working on the stats for this week. So we'll have those posted when we're done with this. And every week we're seeing more and, showings slowed down last week. And I think that's because it was 4th of July weekend. So they're back up this week. We're seeing more and more pendings, more and more closings, and less new listings. And so, a little bit different than your normal, which is just getting new listings. I think now we're having to convince people or explain to people or show people that now is the time. And people are worried kind of about the economy because of COVID and because of the election. You usually get people who'll say, "Oh, I'll wait till after the election to see what happens." But now the inventory is so low that really needs to be part of your presentation when you meet with people, telling them why now is the time to list. And we do that thing on Saturday mornings of, tell us your wins for the week. Everybody is posting about being in multiple offer situations. So that's part of what you need to bring when you go on a listing appointment. And so what I wanted to talk about is you do get those people who call and they're like, "Can you come today at 2?" And I just want to encourage everybody, going today at 2 is not what you should be doing, because you really, really want to be prepared with your stats and statistics, because the person who has the statistics, you are the person who if you're going up against other agents, you're the one who sounds like the expert, or who not just sounds like the expert, but is the expert. So you need to know how many properties are going under contract, how low our inventory is, and what that means, what's going on in that person's neighborhood. So if a seller calls you and says, "Come today at 2, do you have that time to properly prepare? I'm a big believer in you then say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I have appointments today, but I have open Tuesday at 4, Wednesday at 11, Thursday at 6:30, or whatever you choose." Give them options, because number one, if you run out and meet them right then, you're now setting the tone for the relationship, and you're showing them that they're in charge and you're at their every beck and call. And I'm not saying to not be available for your clients, but what I am saying is they need to know that you are busy doing other things as well, and then that'll give you the time to prepare for the listing. So if you don't have a pre-listing package, you might want to take this time when hopefully maybe you're a little slower, not hopefully you're a little slower, but take this time during a slower time to work on a pre-listing package, which is something that you send to them prior to meeting them, whether you drop it at their front door, whether you send it digitally. That's just information about you, information about the company, so that when you get there, they know a little bit more about you, if they didn't already, depending on how you got them. Make sure you're getting to your appointments on time. And by on time, I mean 5 minutes early.
You say on time for realtors is usually 15 minutes late. So.
Right? Right. So, and that sets the tone. That shows them, usually if you come running in 15 minutes late, you're flustered, you don't have everything together. So you really want to strive to be there 5 minutes, 10 minutes early. Just sit in front of the house, get yourself together, and get mentally prepared for the appointment.
And I know we used to have that disc from way back when we used to do all the Tom Ferry stuff, and they had that whole affirmation like as you're on your way to the listing appointment, is the affirmation CD. I still have that in Dropbox, actually.
Oh, do you?
I downloaded
I was just writing myself a note. Let me find those affirmations.
I do have all that, because it was in the agent disc section. So
Right.
I do have that. I'll put that in the group.
Well, and it's funny because I'll just tell you guys this morning that puppy of mine was a crazy wild maniac, and she was crazed, and I'm trying to get ready and she's biting my legs and like nuts. And so when I finally got in my car to get here, I was like, oh my God, I need to calm down, because I was like crazy. And then I got here, thankfully, early today, because sometimes I am not on, not that I'm not on time for this, but I'm screeching through the door at the last minute. And it gave me a few minutes to just kind of sit here by myself and be quiet. And I think that that's important, so, especially, sometimes when you're getting through your day, or, you're on the phone with somebody, a deal's falling apart. Now you're all amped up, and now you're about to go into a listing appointment. And is that the right attitude or the right frame of mind to be in?
I think that's a big deal. And I know whenever I would be, speaking at like a big event, I have from the Tony Robbins UPW, and I have Tom Ferry's, when he has the summit, I have that playlist. Right. And I've had that when did we do our first UPW? It was like 7-8 years ago. And I still have that. It's on my phone. It was a CD. Now I don't think we even have CD players in our cars, but it's my playlist. It's my go-to anytime I'm about to do anything big, or if I'm in like some weird funk, or, especially right now with the craziness between the news and social, and it's just something that puts me in that right mindset. And I think whether it be the affirmation CD or you have your own playlist, it's just songs that really, it's almost like empowering, or it just slaps me right out of that funk and puts me in that, I don't know, the right mindset.
Like in the zone, the zone to get the job done, or whatever it is that you're doing, whether it is a listing presentation, or you're teaching a class, or
anything.
Meeting a buyer for the first time, or going to a cocktail party where you're going to be networking. Not that we even go to cocktail parties anymore.
I miss those. I miss those, and I was like, so excited, thinking, oh, summertime, yes, we'll be able to, or I don't even know anymore. Oh my gosh, it's like craziness. And I don't know.
I was thinking about that last night, because we had talked about doing a cocktail party in September, and I was thinking last night, I don't know if we're going to do that yet, because I don't think we're at that space yet for big.
No, there's a lot. I know like October, so we've got like the BOC, and then normally we have the I don't know, all the other stuff, and it's like everything's going online. I know we're working on doing kind of like a little summit ourselves for like Remax tools and listings and all that kind of stuff. But I think getting in the right zone, being prepared, being early, listing presentations, I think they're important, more on like a fluff handaway. But during the presentation, I don't know, I guess maybe I just had like a really awkward presentation one time, and like the person was just going through the book, and I know we have one and it has all that, right? It has all the fluff. It has, how to prepare your listing for sale. I don't know that that's something I would expect an agent to like go through.
Right. Well, and I'll tell you, I don't. So my listing presentation is prepared, but I get to the house, walk in, introductions. It's really all about asking them questions, so you get the answers, one, to understand their motivation. Why are you selling? What's your plan? What if it doesn't sell in 45 days, or because you want to know, if you have somebody saying, well, we don't really have to sell, you know where that conversation's going. They're probably going to want to overprice it. So you really need to be asking the questions. So I kind of start with, we go in, we introduce, I say, why don't you take me around the house? Show me everything. And then I say, show me what you love, And I also say, show me what you don't love. And the reason why I ask for that is because it will come up as an objection from a buyer. So I want to be prepared for that objection when somebody has it. So you tell me what you don't love, because I can guarantee you a buyer will see the same thing. Not that I'm pointing that out to anybody, but I want to be ready with my answer when that objection comes up. So then
well, that's also good. So, when somebody does have one of those in there, you've already had that discussion with the sellers. So it's nothing new, or they already know their house isn't perfect.
Right.
There's some that they have them rate their house. Like, here's like, if it's absolutely perfect, where do you rate?
Right.
That kind of gives you insight on how they feel. I mean, I think all homes to a seller, it's, they have to look at it more on an investment side. So
right.
I remember, gosh, one of my first, when I was doing that, and they had, I don't know if they just were like collectors, and it was just like every single wall was covered with crap. And it's like, oh my gosh, what do you do? I mean, how do you help stage? I mean, and it's, I think, helping maybe get the sellers in the right mindset of selling their house, making it more, taking out the family portrait, because you need to, these people need to walk in and envision themselves, not that they're walking into somebody else's home. I mean, you have to look at it like
it's funny, and that's what I always say is, I say the one thing, which is, they say, well, do I need to start packing now? And I say to them, is your goal to sell this house and to move? Well, yes. Well, then why not start packing now? Why not start packing now? Why would we wait till we get the contract and then be in panic mode? Let's start packing now. And then I always tell this other story when I do the family photos, and I say years ago I was showing a house to my investor, and it was a short sale, and we knew that the couple was separated, and we knew that the husband was the one still in the house. He had huge wedding portraits, and I mean huge, still up on the wall. We spent half the time, my investor, like, why he cared, but for him, this was an angle, can I get this for cheaper? Discussing why the husband would still have the photos and what the wife must have done. So that's my example. We don't want to be looking at your photos, figuring out, why you were at Fenway Park on, June 22nd or whatever, whatever the photos of. So depersonalize, and you're moving. The goal is to sell the house and move. So why would you wait to start packing? Might as well do it now.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And then so pre-listing, would you put the listing contract in there so that they can review and be able to ask questions?
That's interesting. I've gone to classes where they teach you to do that, and I've gone to classes where they teach you not to do that. I've never done it, and I can't say why I haven't. When I do a listing contract, I go over it with them very clearly and because I never want that seller saying I didn't understand, but I don't think I generally give them the opportunity, because I think what I find is you'll find sellers will go in and start redlining stuff if that's their personality of what they want to change. Right. And they're already focused on that before you even get to look at their house and talk about it. They're already for me, the commission and all of that stuff, I don't really even talk about it unless they bring it up. I do at the very end, of course, but I don't, I don't, it's not the forefront of the conversation. The forefront of the conversation is what makes me unique and different and the right person for them to sell their home.
And now, because I know some people may be on the fence of, do I sell? Is it safe? Having strangers in the house. And I mean, I guess probably one of the bigger things is if they have to buy in this market, that's where I think things might get a little tricky too.
Well, yes. And so I approach each seller kind of what they're comfortable with. What are you comfortable with? Do you want people in your home? Do you want them in your home without masks, without gloves, without sanitizer? Do you want gloves, masks, and sanitizer? And I let them decide what's comfortable for them. I had a one couple who was not in the least bit concerned, and I had sort of the safe practices. We've pushed out a couple flyers to everybody that was attached to the listing, and I had it attached in showing time so that when someone made an appointment, it just said, ask your clients questions, this, and I didn't have anybody sign anything. Then I have another seller who masks, gloves. She stays there until they get there. She turns on every light, every door is open. She lets them in the house and tells, don't touch anything. And she stays because she wants to make sure they're wearing masks. And in that case, we have masks provided. We have hand sanitizer provided. And then same thing with another one. We had a basket at the front door with the sanitizer, with the masks, with the gloves. I do have to tell you, I was with buyers last week from out of state, and we were at a listing. We were at a showing rather, and that one required masks, gloves, the whole deal. So we had our masks. The agent was there to show us the house. She gave us the gloves, and the thermostat was set at 79. I thought, yes, that face, exactly. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die because the mask is on, and now my hands are sweating because of
and the glasses fog up. Like I feel when I'm wearing those masks, and I can't even imagine in Florida because we do not have the humidity here. It may be 90, but I can sit outside and it's gorgeous. But I can't even imagine because just in the vet's office, I can't read anything because I'm I don't know, I'm just constantly touching my face. I'm like, do they have a medium? I don't need an adult. I'm not a kid, but the freaking mask, I swear to God, covers my entire face. I'm creeping up into my eyeballs and
right. So for listings, I let the sellers dictate what they're comfortable with. When I'm with a buyer, kind of the same thing. I let the listings dictate what the buyer has to do. So if and are they in the car with me or are they riding in their own car? If they're and I just had people last week, we took separate cars because we all wanted to not wear our masks when we were in the car. So they were in their car not wearing their mask. I was in my car not wearing my mask. And then we'd get to the location, we'd mask up, we'd go in. I tell my buyers, regardless of what the rules are for that particular house, I tell them, please don't touch anything. Let me be the only one to turn on lights and open doors. And I make sure I do that. And I've got my hand sanitizer and my gloves. And I think you have to do what you're comfortable with. I mean, if you have a buyer who says, well, I'm not going to wear a mask, and you're not comfortable with that, you may not want to work with that buyer. I mean, it's just, I think everybody has to decide what feels right for them.
Because I think we're all in different circumstances. I mean, we're all young, we're healthy. I'm not worried. But when I'm in Florida, I don't, it's definitely a different because I have my in-laws. And if I'm staying with them, I mean, I haven't stayed with them. I think it just depends on, everybody's in different circumstances.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
I agree. I mean, I went yesterday to a listing appointment. My lady just arrived from New York. She lives in New York City, where they have been quarantined and masked up. So in an odd way, they're much more safe than we are. But I mean, I got there. She had her mask on. I had my mask on. An hour and a half conversation with masks on. I mean, it's I know. Oh my gosh! But we did it, and it was.
What would be the advice if somebody's looking to sell? Because I think there's a lot, whether they're, needing a bigger house because this, now they need, home office. I think that's big right now. People wanting to kind of, whether they're getting a divorce because they don't like their spouse as much as they thought. Now, so there might be downsizing. I mean, I definitely think there's reasons for people to be selling in the market the way that it is between, people moving here or whatnot. But I mean, I knew because I work from my home office, I had to have that extra bedroom. But a lot of people, they've been sitting at their dining room table. Now, I know a lot of people where now it is open and they're allowing, that's the new norm is working from home. And it's which is great. But now they need a house where they can do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would sell in a crazy, low inventory. I mean, it's great if you're selling,
It is great if you're yeah, and so I mean, we'll talk about next week what makes a good offer, especially when you're in a multiple offer situation. So we'll talk about that side of it next week. But I think wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether it's social media, whether you're cold calling, I don't know if people are door knocking right now, but you really need to be talking about the low inventory. I always like to talk about how many people are relocating here. I mean, Northrop Grumman, Blue Origin, SpaceX, Harris L3. Those people are still moving to town for that. I mean, I've got 2 people that are coming to town, relocating here that I've put under contract buyers, and I know many of the people in our office have that. And letting sellers know. And at the same time, people are still, hate to say it, people die, people give birth, people get divorced, people get married. That never changes. That's always happening. And that's, those are the reasons why people sell. So let's try and target listings and educating the sellers that now is really the time. I mean, it is the time. But I will say pricing the houses correctly is very important. And even though we're going, above list price, I'm seeing buyers put in sometimes unrealistic offers just to win the listing with the hope that it doesn't appraise. So that's something to think about as well. Yep.
I mean, I guess the good thing is it's not like the crazy what was it in 06? I mean, just make up a number. This is what it comes out at, but let's just make up a number.
Well, right. And those appraised back then, which was, that was a whole nother crazy town. So yeah, I think just getting whatever you're marketing, whatever you're doing, make sure you're getting out there and letting people know that inventory is low and houses are selling. They're selling fast and they're selling for list price and in some cases more.
I mean, and even trying to get the listings, if you have areas or you have the buyers, I remember, we used to have all those yikes, postcards or whatever, like basically sending an email or not an email, I guess, postcards or letters or anything to areas that you farm that you have buyers for. I mean, I think it's time to maybe just step out, not just your sphere, but really aggressively going after those listings, educating people what the inventory is like. I have, especially those that you're missing out on, deals because multiple offer situations, but, maybe it's time to go back to those snail mail postcards. I like the postcards because you don't have to open it unless you're actually going to hand address.
Right.
Something, but just something that's catchy. And I'm sure in my archives somewhere when it was like this before, I think was like the big Tom Ferry thing.
It was the big Tom Ferry one, yeah.
Way back when, but I'm sure I have those. I never delete anything. So I think that, and now we have, let's see, what is our activity of the week?
Which is, I think the topic of the week is compassion, right? So
yes.
So compassion, especially during this time, with everything that's going on, whether it's, kids freaking out because they're not going back to school, parents freaking out because they don't want their kids to go back to school or whatever it is. I think it's just time to kick your compassion into high gear. See if you can't reach out to either old clients or 3 old clients or family members or someone, and just let them know you're thinking about them and you're here, and if there's something you can do to help them, or just talking and reaching out, is will that make people feel better? And I think as an industry, and I certainly know within our company, we are very big into charity and compassion. So this should be normal for us. I mean, this should not be, this should be easy to do, right? This should be easy to be able to just reach out to others and make sure they're doing okay. Or even if you're at the Publix and it takes the guy 27 minutes to make your pub sub, you know what, he's having to do different things, different practices, even though they were super clean before, but now it's even more so. Just take in mind that, these are different times. It's not that serious. And if that's the worst thing that happens to you today, I think it's a pretty good day, right? So
Yeah, and that goes with the words of wisdom is compassion and tolerance are not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. And I think that goes a lot to a lot of like social media posts.
Yeah.
You know, if you
Yes.
don't agree, I think sometimes it's very hard not to just keep scrolling.
Just keep scrolling. There's so many people who are posting about wearing a mask or not wearing a mask and how they feel and don't feel. And sometimes I want to chime in, and then I'm just like, you know what? Just keep scrolling because I'm just good. I don't know that I don't know that I'm going to change anybody's mind. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I'm going to do what feels safe and right for me and my family.
And I think we're all in different areas, different situations. But yeah, I mean, just have compassion. I mean, I don't think we all have to agree on stuff. Sometimes you may have to start cleaning house if people are more, a little more crazy or aggressive than you may have thought when you accepted that friend request. You can unfollow, unfriend. I know it's only going to get worse as we go into election cycle. And I know when I go to like R4, they'll be like, I tried to friend you like 6 months ago. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't accept friend requests from people just because we're, in the same groups or whatnot. Like, I don't know who you are and I don't need negative stuff.
My new thing with friends is or if I get a request is I go to their page, and sometimes a lot of it's hidden so you can't see too much, but at one I see how many friends we have in common. Are all the friends we have in common all female realtors? This might be a creeper. Or is it someone who's also with Remax but in another state who's very politically charged? I don't really want to be friends with that person either. I mean, I don't feel, and this is for me, I don't feel like this industry has room for that. Honestly, I like to try and stay as neutral as possible, because I don't want to offend or upset anybody.
Right.
Who may or may not.
I try to be the same way because I mean, I really, everyone is so charged. And I'm like, I don't know that any one president has ever made or break me. So it doesn't really affect me in a way that like.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Like for people to go so crazy, it's like, okay, I just keep doing my thing, like it is what it is.
I know.
So, well, that's great. Well, so next week is going to be all about writing the offers.
Yeah. Yep.
Writing great offers. And if you have any comments, suggestions for future shows, anything like that, please put them in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from them. And until then, wake up, kick ass, and repeat. See you next week.
Yeah.